of getting to know his squad that bit better in the middle of this season. It is quite an interesting predicament, isn't it, for a coach coming in who doesn't have a pre-season to work with his players, to then come in and try to enforce all of his ideologies. This break, although as English football fans, Jason, we're used to tradition, having that winter break might actually benefit Chelsea in the long run.
Yeah, and I think a lot of teams are going into this. We saw what Arsenal were doing before the World Cup started. Newcastle, results were going well, performances were good. And I have to say, it felt a little bit like for me that the World Cup turned up at the right time for Chelsea. Just a reset, Potter to go back, think about how he wants to move forward. Some tough games coming, as there always is. We start off on the 27th against Bournemouth at home. That's an absolute must-win game. And all of a sudden, the pressure will be revved up. But look, he seems very relaxed. He's right there. And interesting what he said there about how we support the lads psychologically, because there's some boys there that haven't made the World Cup because of injury. That's tough to deal with. Not only that, you've got to get yourself fit, back and firing, and you've got to park all that baggage. So, listen, this is the beginning of that step back into the Premier League.
Well, it has been 29 days since we last saw Chelsea's men's team in action, but today they're back to contest the Awada Challenge Cup against Aston Villa in Abu Dhabi. It's a break that has allowed both Graham Potter and Unai Emery time to work with their squads following their mid-season arrivals at their respective clubs. And with Premier League football returning in 2 weeks' time, this afternoon's all-English affair will give both head coaches a good indication of where their teams are going into the second half of the domestic season. As you can see, we are live from Al Nayyan Stadium. It's 6:10 local time. Just shy of 30 degrees compared to the minus degrees back home in London. It's a warm weather training camp, certainly one that all of those youngsters will be benefiting from, as well as Graham Potter and his staff. Well, not only is it an opportunity for these players to get themselves back up to match fitness, it's an opportunity to take the Chelsea brand into different areas of the world. It is a global club with a global fan base, and it's good to see so many in Chelsea shirts in the arena tonight. Here's Graham Potter's side for this afternoon's friendly. As expected, it's a nice mix of experience and promising starlets. Bettinelli, Cucurella, Chalobah, Jorginho, and Broya are well versed in games against Premier League opposition. I should say in total 12 players from the travelling squad have come through Chelsea's famed Cobham Academy. Unai Emery, however, has gone as close to full strength as possible. Emi Martinez is Villa's only World Cup semi-final player, so Robin Olsen deputises in goal, and there is a start as well for 20-year-old Arjun Reiki in midfield alongside John McGinn. Let's look at the benches. More youth on display, be hoping to get their opportunity from the bench under Graham Potter. It is the first time that Potter and Unai Emery have met as managers. Emery doesn't have the best record in charge against Chelsea. He's won just one of their previous 11 games. Well, here we go then, Aston Villa to get us underway in Abu Dhabi. players who have made a senior appearance this season are wearing the numbers that they did wear. Making that appearance for the youngsters be a lot lower down in terms of the numbering. Here's Robin Olsen, first test at the feet for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, listen, what experience these young boys, some of these young boys, are travelling over to Dubai. When I was playing, we used to go to Spain at the very furthest, Gibraltar. These lads going halfway around the world. What a wonderful experience, but also to put an imprint on the manager's mind. The games matter. Like I said before, Max, there's always someone watching. You've got to remember that as young kids. Someone's watching somewhere, and the manager's eyes are the ones that you really want to train. So, look, let's see how this game goes. It's a very bizarre situation that Aston Villa and Chelsea and every club in Europe find themselves in, having to do a friendly to get themselves fit for a restart of the season. But come Boxing Day on the 27th, there will be no excuses. So that's why these games are being played.
Here's a first glimpse of Ray Keegan head-to-head against fellow youngster Lewis Hall. His preferred position this afternoon.
Is he playing on the right, Lewis, or has he just managed to work his way over there?
To midfield alongside Jorginho and Charlie Webster, by lots of things. Right in the centre of your picture now.
The game that probably could have expected almost a little bit scrappy from both sides, but Chelsea win the ball back midfield.
Yeah, Breuer, good, tenacious work rate from him. It's what we've come to expect in the Chelsea shirts. Here's Webster. Now Kukurea.
I don't know what kind of fan base they're expecting. There's plenty of empty seats, but there are some flags, loads of flags over on the other side as well, with Chelsea name written all over it.
Hutchinson loves to duck inside onto his favoured left foot to set up Aubameyang. Hutchinson again. Straight down the throat of Robin Olsen.
Yeah, nice play from Hutchinson. He follows his pass, and Aubameyang just lays it back into him. Left foot, sweeps the shot across. In the end, the goalkeeper, he has to save that. He's straight at him. It's not hit with a great deal of power. It does take a slight deflection, but in the end, Olsen just gathers it quite comfortably. And Aston Villa yet to really, I don't think they've had a touch in our half match.
Well, here comes the first completed pass there to Luca Dean. Missed out on the France World Cup squad. Could have been a part of their victory against England last night. At least said about that, the better.
Oh, Max, I'm still very flat over that. That was it's a tough one to take that, and I wish all the boys that come back here psychologically to get to that stage and feel like we could really go on and do something in this tournament. Very, very difficult.
Went slightly too early there, Aubameyang. He's used to playing in that wider role. That's where we saw him produce a lot of his best work for Arsenal. Of course, Barcelona as well. Here's Luiz. Reiki once more. Quick footwork from Douglas Luiz, who was one of the standout performers last Thursday as Aston Villa drew 2-2 with Brighton. Been out in the Middle East for a bit longer than Chelsea.
Yeah, I think when there aren't as many players from Aston Villa's squad as Chelsea's in the World Cup. Therefore, you can get your side together a little quicker. I have to say that for the first time, Aston Villa now starting to stroke the ball around, a bit of movement, trying to move the ball out wide, see if they can stretch that back line. The tempo, it feels like a pre-season game now, Max, doesn't it? The intensity is not. It's almost impossible to replicate what it's like when you go into a game that matters. With 3 points on the offering, you can have pre-season games, and there's a value in this. Make no mistake about it. But it's hard to replicate what it means when those points matter.
Here's Dean. Watkins was making the move ahead of him. He's been forced backwards by Hutchinson. Interesting, Amari Hutchinson. I'm sure there'll be plenty of viewers back home watching to see how he gets on. Lots of interest in him. He was in the matchday squad for 3 of 5 games before the World Cup break. It's the perfect opportunity for him to make a good impression going into the second half of the season.
Who knows, some of these boys might be playing for a loan move. You know, there might be something in January when the window opens that might see their career take a different path.
Here's Dean. Plenty of players forward for Aston Villa. One of them's Watkins. Here's another. And John McGinn breaks the deadlock. Just 6 minutes in. Aston Villa flooded forward in numbers. It was McGinn who made no mistake. Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 1.
Well, we all got dragged across. Cucurella's come across and he's abandoned the left-hand side, but it's a brilliant dummy. I think it might be Watkins, you know. He just allows the ball to run, get themselves on the left-hand side. Cucurella's got to come across. Here's Watkins. It's a great little flick. Plays it to the path of McGinn, just inside the box. Easy for him on the left foot as well. Nice and easy. Passes it in to the goal. You see Cucurella get dragged right across, and that, he doesn't want to be there. Cucurella does not want to be anywhere near that. But he's had to come across because we got stretched on that. There, left, our right. Nice finish. Bit of a strange goal that, actually, the way that it was created and how the space just opened up.
Villa have been largely unchanged. This is the 3rd of 4 mid-season friendlies that they're playing. Kicked it off against Cardiff City, where they lost 3-1 in the Peter Whittingham Memorial game. Followed it up by with a 2-2 draw against Brighton on Thursday, and then next week they're playing against Unai Emery's former side Villarreal at Villa Park. So they're certainly a bit further ahead in their preparations, as Jason said as well. Fewer players going off to the World Cup has given them a good opportunity to get themselves together, work on their shape, work on patterns of play like we've just seen. Work initially by Hall, but Hutchinson's not going to be able to keep that one in.
Yeah, he does well, Hall, actually. He manages to find a bit of space and cuts inside it. The pass is overhit, and also the selection of passes, it's not what he really wanted. So, a little disjointed for Chelsea at the moment.
Unai Emery has faced Chelsea on 6 previous occasions, winning just once. It was a 2-0 win at the Emirates, one in charge of Arsenal back in 2019. He was in the dugout as well for Chelsea's 2019 Europa League win, the Maurizio Sarri, out in Baku.
I just wonder why Potter going into this game. What's his objectives? We heard in his little chat there before the game started about trying to just get the lads together psychologically. He mentioned physically. It's a difficult one really, because the team is so different. You know, normally when you go pre-season games, there's a splattering of the first team players. Very little at the moment, but it's the strong Aston Villa side, and these boys will be tested.
Watkins facing up Gilchrist, who did well to get his body in the way.
Yeah, he does well there, because Watkins only 1v1. I wonder whether he might have run him, because there's a bit of grass in behind him, and he's quick. But he opts to try to hold on to the ball, do a trick. In the end, it's well won.
Josh Brooking for Jorginho, now Webster. Now for Bash Humphreys. Humphreys and Gilchrist have struck up a partnership at development level. Bettinelli's able to spray this one for Josh Brooking. Can't quite take that in his stride.
Yes, it's a nice ball that from Bettinelli. You can see the Brookings, the disappointment on his face as that ball eluded him. It's not a difficult touch there. He's got plenty of time and space to bring it down. Perhaps was thinking about his next pass and that loss of concentration. Allowed the ball just to go out of play. Tackle it. Oh, okay. Well, referees give a foul there. I thought Lewis does well. I think closes down, wraps his foot round. If we decided otherwise.
Mara. It's on for Bailey. Again, Aston Villa can get their numbers forward. And here's Luca Dean on the overlap once more, but who's there? Lewis Hall covers so much ground, doesn't he, wherever he's playing?
Yeah, he started well, Lewis Hall, and you know, you can see the little bit of quality there from Aston Villa. There's a little bit of space on this left-hand side. The pass itself wasn't the worst one, but Lewis Hall does well, gets back goal side, wins the ball, and then Chelsea regain possession.
Will be free kick for Chelsea. Stop that quick breakaway that Aubameyang was looking to get underway. It's a nice ball into the channel for Amari Hutchinson. One-on-one against Luca Dean. Gets the better of him as well. Hutchinson onto his favoured left. Oh, the post. Brilliant effort from Amari Hutchinson. Danger's not yet clear for Aston Villa.
Oh, best move of the game from both sides. It's a brilliant ball from down to Hutchinson, and he cuts inside. Luca Dean, I don't think he expects him to come inside. It's almost like he wrong foots him, but actually it's a 1v1. His body shape wasn't right. He comes inside, Hutchinson, has another touch, and as he does that, the goal opens up. Eden Hazard was brilliant that on the other side, where he'd have another touch, and the goal just opens up even more. Bends it, sweet strike this left foot, hits the post.
Well, here's Watkins, looking to capitalise. Still Watkins, good block there by Alfie Gilchrist. Managed to throw his body in the way. What Chelsea got in return.
Game sprung into life, actually. That was, you know, it felt a bit tepid, but now it seems to me as there's a little bit of bite about it.
Things there sliding in to block the through ball from Hutchinson. Royer was on the move. Olsen will clear under pressure. He's actually done really well to pick out Leon Bailey, who's unable to pluck that one from the sky. Brilliant effort it was from Amari Hutchinson.
It's a great ball, I think, but it's Lewis Hall that plays it. And as he gets inside, that's poor from Luca Dean. He almost lazy, but he cuts inside, has another touch, opens the goal up. It's a wicked shot, beautifully struck. Unfortunately, hit just the wrong side of the post.
15 appearances, academy level, 6 goals for Amari Hutchinson this season. You can see exactly why. Only one thing on his mind, and he got into that position.
Yeah, I mean, he had a lot to do there as well. And it was a 1v1, so once he's beat Dean, and then he had a little bit more to do because the players are coming across, forcing him across the centre of the goal on the edge of the box. It's a really sweet strike. He would have felt that was going in because it was really well struck.
Aston Villa do have an opportunity here from a free kick. Bailey, Douglas Luiz stood over it. Dean as well. It's an interesting routine.
I don't quite know what's happening. Very odd.
One back by Jorginho.
Man on the right hand side, if you can find him. It's a lovely ball. Oh, the keeper's running well, actually, to be fair to him.
Olsen very quick off his line there to deal with that one. It's one of the biggest criticisms that he faces, Robin Olsen, when he does deputise for Emi Martinez, that he's not really a reactive goalkeeper. Showed that he was alert to the danger there, though.
Yeah, the modern day goalkeeper, it almost spends most of his time in the game, if you're in possession, into his box, more than he does inside the box. See, they're anticipated. It's not the worst ball that cuts across you. You know, I said that over on the other side, but he reads it well.
Mix. Now, Douglas Luiz. Finding Kamara.
It's good.
Pressure on him from Charlie Webster.
Yeah, he does well there, actually, because he wants an extra touch, Kamara, and Webster closes him down, gets his body on in the challenge, and Chelsea win possession. Hear, I mean, all the shouts. And this is like a training ground. You hear, you know, there's obviously not that many people here. There's, I don't know, maybe 1,500. What we can see, maybe 2,000, something like that, maybe less.
It's very similar, isn't it, to the Operation Restart games just after the.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, you can hear all the players talking.
It's Jorginho. Aubameyang was trying to get forward on the left-hand side. He's just had to hold his run to stay on.
Yeah, I'd like to see Aubameyang and Broja get a little bit more ball time, to be honest. Haven't really seen enough of Broja. Haven't managed to get him into the game enough. Oh, it's nice.
Nice footwork from Lewis Hall. Good pass at the end of it as well to pick out Aubameyang now. What can Chelsea's number 9 do? Taken off the feet of Hall. Reiki under pressure, gives it away. Webster. Now Brooking, able to pick out Hutchinson.
Both sides guilty of giving the ball away at the moment. Chelsea a little bit sloppy on the edge of their box. Aston Villa can't build any sort of momentum, and Chelsea win it back.
Good Correa. Webster. It's Jorginho, now Broja dropping a bit deeper. Ashley Young was with him every step of the way.
Yeah, I think we need to stretch it. Move the ball on this right-hand side. A bit of space for Hutchinson if he can find him.
Trying to go infield. Ball's return pass not quite on the same wavelength. Aston Villa should be able to clear. This is what we're used to seeing from an Unai Emery side. Playing out, trying to suck in the press. They've lost it there, and it's Broja with the attempt, and now Webster blocks on his way through to goal.
I have to say, Broja's shot, I felt he should really do better there, to be honest. It comes to Webster on the edge of the box. It was well blocked, but a really good opportunity for Broja. Doesn't seem to quite react quick enough for me. The ball's been given away on the edge of the box. Just to find a bit of space for Broja, but here with a great deal of conviction.
It's that Hutchinson chance once more. It's the closest that Chelsea have come. Inches away. Bettinelli having to feel that down the other end of the field. Good to see him get a few minutes. He was speaking to the club website this week about how he's had to be patient for his chance. Very good character behind the scenes. You need that, don't you?
It's tough for keepers, Max, because you know you can be a defender and you can play in a 3. In a 4, you might, like Aspilicueta, be incredibly versatile. You can play left back, right of a 3, and there will be a position on the pitch for you if you are as versatile. As a goalkeeper, that's it. That's all you've got. You wait for injuries, a suspension, an opportunity, maybe in a cup game. It's very, very difficult, certainly for the third choice goalkeeper.
Kepa still struggling with the injury that he suffered against Brighton, so it is Bettinelli who gets the nod, with Edouard Mendy still taking a bit of a break after World Cup duties with Senegal. Eddie Beach is the number 2 on the bench for Chelsea today. Concert, taking a risk up against Broja. He's gone down and he's screaming out in pain and clutching his knee as well. This does not look good for Armando Broja. Doesn't sound good either.
Well, I don't quite know what Concert's doing. Broja goes in and just it's innocuous. There's no obvious sign of an injury there, Max, but just his reaction is incredibly worrying. Oh, he's in a lot of agony, the boy. This feels very concerning. He's still whimpering in pain. Let's have a look at it here. I don't know what's happened there, but just his reaction, I don't like it at all. It's incredibly worrying for the young man. Oh dear.
Well, here's another look at the goal that separates the two sides. John McGinn, an accomplished finish after some good build-up play by Luca Dean and Ollie Watkins. Our concern at this moment is with Armando Broja, who's still receiving treatment in the goal mouth.
Yeah, and you can't quite see what has happened there, but he's holding his knee, and of course, your instant reaction is serious ligament damage in there. With the ACL is the one you fear, and he's still down. This is Yeah, these are very concerning pictures for him, and fingers crossed. But I have to say, I really don't like what I'm watching right now. This is a young man in a lot of pain and probably quite fearful. Concert takes too long. He goes in. It's a nothing challenge, and they even Concert and Olsen wave over straight away. They can tell by his reaction and his pain and the reaction and the noises he's making, Max.
It's the way he was gripping his leg as well, wasn't it? It's comfortable viewing, that's for sure. Just hope that to get the treatment he requires as soon as possible. It looks like he's going to leave the field on a stretcher as well.
20 minutes into a friendly. And fingers crossed, but I have to say, I really don't like what I've just seen there. I don't like the look of that. That's concerning, I'm afraid. And let's hope he's back sooner rather than later. But my gosh, now all of a sudden Graham Potter's got a scenario faced in front of him, Max. If that is an injury as serious as I fear, he might have to think about going into the transfer market, because he's our third choice backup. Or second choice, you could argue.
Second choice. You've got players who are...
I know Havertz can do that, but in terms of a number 9, he's the only real number 9, and he gives us something different. And I just wonder whether that all of a sudden that Concert takes, he hesitates. The relationship between the pair, there's a miscommunication between Concert and Olsen, and in doing so, he allows. He has every right to go for it, bro. He should go for it, but in doing so, he's injured himself, and he's still on the pitch. He's now on a stretcher now, and it's dear. Well, so I wish you all the best, young man. But I think this is a problem for the squad now. And these games are here for a purpose, and understandably you need to have them. But my gosh, it feels like this has been a very, very expensive game already. So
it's the latest to add to a long list of injury concerns for Chelsea. There was obviously positive news that we saw in the build-up to this game. Reece James saying that he's nearly ready for his comeback. That was a knee injury for him. We're just hoping that this is nowhere near as serious as it looks, as Breuer leaves the field on a go.
Yeah, and he's dearie me. Be fearing for the rest of this season, I think. That's how it looks. I don't want to preempt, but to get an injury like what would appear to be damage to the knee. Anyway, let's wait for the prognosis.
Well, Chelsea do make a substitution. Dion Rankin replacing Armando Breuer. Does look like Aubameyang's going to lead the line now. Rankin over to the left-hand side. Usually plays on the right for the development sides. Hutchinson cutting in onto his left foot, Rankin cutting in onto his right. You imagine is how this is going to look for now.
Lewis Hall's been good, by the way. He's looked very sharp, very bright, very inventive, always looking to go forward.
Kukurea. First touch for Rankin. Jorginho. It's a bit wayward from him, but Brooking will be able to get on the end of it. And here's Hall again. And he's been making things tick.
Aubameyang's gone down the middle. Absolutely right. That 4-3-3 shape is still very obvious.
Here he is now, challenging with Tyrone Mings. He's able to get there first. Aubameyang puts a bit of pressure on Olsen.
It takes a little bit too long there, Olsen, doesn't he? Hesitates slightly. Offside. Chelsea take the free kick.
Here's Rankin. Chance for him to get his head up and get running. Ashley Young. John McGinn as well, who's back there covering Two experienced players in the Aston Villa lineup. Kamara, who's won it back. Young will clear, only as far as Cucurella. Now Webster. The Hall. Urging Josh Brooking to take the strike, which he does. Blocked out and behind by Tyrone Mings.
Yeah, once again, Lewis Hall is making things tick in there. He's the Chelsea's best player at the minute by some distance. He knows the pass is on. It's just a question of getting the ball out to that right hand. There's a little touch. Shimmies, plays it outside. In the end, the shot comes in from Brooking, deflected behind for a corner.
Hutchinson then to deliver from the right hand side towards Aubameyang. Cleared out by Kamara. Aubameyang will bring Webster into play. Deep delivery, conveyed to everyone, out for a goal kick.
Yeah, slightly overhits the cross. Ball's on that left-hand side. Aubameyang goes out and needs support. He finds the support. In the end, the cross is overhit, goes behind harmlessly for an Aston Villa goal kick, which they're going to take. Mings is around it, as is Consa.
On by Gilchrist. Now as far as Dean. Consa. Young, who has been one of the standout performers for Villa this season. Talk of him getting a contract at the end of the season. Quite remarkable for a 37-year-old fullback, someone who has continued to reinvent himself over the course of his career.
Yeah, what a career he's had as well. Still playing in the Premier League, for a top club. Credit to him.
Hall. Now Jorginho spotted the run of Cucurella getting forward on that left-hand side. All demanding it in midfield again. Now Webster. Hutchinson joined by Dean once more. Towards Aubameyang, who's still around. Actually did just enough to get that one back into Robin Olsen's path.
Yeah, again, Lewis Hall, all part of that build-up. The ball comes out on this left-hand side. Just drags it onto that left foot, looking to find a little flick on towards that far post. Banging tries it, but in the end, the goalkeeper just gathers it harmlessly. He's had a couple of heavy touches, the keeper. And even the referee's given a free kick now. And it probably is, but I've got to say, it's his touch that allows Aubameyang to go in for it. He's invited the challenge. I think Aubameyang's got to go for that, Max.
He does.
I think he's got to go for that.
In the same way that Breuer had to go for the other one.
Yeah.
Showed a lot of the ball there, Robin Olsen. Made his first start of the season against Manchester United in the Carabao Cup at Old Trafford. He made a mistake in that game to hand United the 3-2 lead as they ran out 4-2 winners. He has been linked with a return to his native Sweden. He's determined to learn and adapt, play out from the back in Emery's system, although he did also look shaky in Thursday's friendly against Brighton. Doesn't come naturally to him, the footwork. But it does for Dion Rankin.
Yeah, nice play down that left-hand side, very sharp. Lovely one, just touches, moving the ball. Every step he has, he moves the ball, keeps it alive.
He always takes it one game at a time, doesn't he, Graham Potter? He's always keen to stress and place the emphasis on the 90 minutes in front of him. Luis, that's just enough to recover that one. I do wonder, that potential injury to Breuer, how far ahead he's going to start looking now, Graham Potter.
Well, that could well be a devastating blow, not just for Andy Breuer and his career, but also for Chelsea now. That leaves us shy up top. There may well be some business that needs to be done. Of course, we'll have to wait and see what there'll be scans and all sorts, but I have to say that my first impressions are that does look like it's a long-term injury.
Douglas Luiz nearly giving it straight to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Rescued by Konsa. Here's Young. It's Dion Rankin. And who is 17 years his junior. Bailey. It's being utilised in a slightly different role by Unai Emery to how he was under Steven Gerrard, playing more as an out-and-out striker, the Jamaican.
Yeah, definitely more central, isn't he? And he can drop and support Ollie Watkins, who's a little bit more recognised as that number 9, if you like. But that's, you know, he just drops into those little areas, the 10, if you like, and come out wide. He's definitely playing more central.
To also have Danny Ings on the bench, although Watkins is going through there, forcing Bettinelli into a smart stop.
Yeah, no pressure on the ball, and it's a lovely bit of movement from Watkins in the end, and the ball just drifts, it just seems to bounce away from him. I think he probably expects it to stay a bit closer, but the pace of the ball, it's a good save from Bettinelli in the end. Douglas Luiz, the pass, it's a lovely ball actually. Goes to the outside of his right foot.
There, isn't it? Just kicks up a bit too much.
Yeah, I can tell by the flight of the ball what he's thinking, because it's in his path, but it just skips away.
Luiz. Again, back to Dean. Challenged down by Rankin. Now for another corner. Coincidentally, Douglas Luiz, they do have a player who has already scored direct from 2 corners this season.
True, yes.
Very close to scoring from a 3rd as well.
There's that wicked delivery, isn't it? That with pace and whip towards that far post.
It's over it now. In it comes. Oh, it's a tester for Bettinelli. Stood firm, stood tall.
It's right under the crossbar, that one. It's a bit more central than the ones we were just discussing, and the keeper should save that. The ones that Fox keepers.
It's another good ball though.
That's a great ball.
Towards Mings, keeps it alive. Still yet to be cleared. And there's a big shout from Bettinelli.
It's a brilliant ball in towards that far post, and there's a head on it. But the ball finds its way to Bettinelli. He's gone long. He's launched the ball upfield. So there's very little support for Hutchinson.
Villa will happily play this game at their own pace. They do have the goal, the experience as well. There's Lewis Hall with the energy in midfield, trying to win things back, get his side back on the front foot. Just outnumbered there. Villa packing that central area.
Yes, they are. Then there's not a lot of space in there. Lewis Hall's had a very good start to this game. 33, nearly 34 minutes into it. He's lively in there, energetic, good creation with the ball.
Mings under pressure from Hutchinson. For Watkins to deal with, he does very well to cushion that chest to Douglas Luiz. On back by Chelsea. Ash Humphreys.
He's forced back, Humphreys. In the end, the ball has got to go all the way back to Bettinelli, and Aston Villa seized the opportunity to squeeze the pitch, get on the halfway line.
So it's nice, good play from Chelsea to break the press. Chance for Josh Brooking to get forward on this near side. Charlie Webster was pointing where he wanted it. Instead, it's Hall who switches play to find Rankin. Again back there, helping out Ashley Young. Rankin's going to go for it himself. Challenged down by Douglas Luiz.
Yeah, Rankin's got a little bit of space on that right-hand side. He's looked lively actually since he's come on, Max. He cuts across again. I spoke earlier about the shot that's coming from Hutchinson on that left. He's cut across on the right-hand side, hazard-esque, if you like. Tried to bend the shot in, but he's looked very, very lively. Wouldn't mind seeing us trying to get the ball out to him a little bit more often now. Jorginho's got it, and he actually looks over to Rankin. Like to see what he can do.
I do wonder how much that plays into his mind, Jorginho. He wouldn't have seen too much of these boys playing 11 aside. A few step-overs from Rankin. Trying to drive Chelsea forward, closer towards Robin Olsen's goal. Cucurella delivers, Aubameyang's in there. was well positioned to block the strike.
Yeah, he doesn't quite take it with him, does it, Aubameyang? And Mings closing him down. He tried to roll his sole of the foot over the ball and doesn't take it. In the end, Mings just dispossesses him. Chelsea still got the ball.
Here is Rankin again, earning the trust of his Chelsea colleagues. Gilchrist. Brooking's got Hutchinson ahead of him. Lewis Hall have made the run into the channel.
It's a nice run that actually takes Douglas Luiz into an area. Doesn't want to be there, but it's a nice intelligent run that from Hall.
Again, a little live wire on that left-hand side. This Young does get the better of him. It's no surprise to see so many fresh faces in this Chelsea side, given that 15 of their players were away at the World Cup. Just 2 of those remain, of course, as Aubameyang lines up a strike. Straight at Olsen once more.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the best option, actually. I mean, he turns well and he's got a bit of space. I don't blame him. He's gone on the outside of his foot. He doesn't quite connect the way that he would have. He was trying to bend it around Mings towards that top corner. In the end, he doesn't quite wrap the outside of the foot around it enough. There was a run on, I think it might be Lewis Hall, making that house, the run, overlapping run with acres of space. He doesn't see him.
Chances are, if there is a run from midfield, it will be Lewis Hall, based on what we've seen from him in senior action Chelsea so far.
Chelsea enjoyed quite a lot of ball, actually, in the last 10 minutes or so. Maybe a bit longer.
Brooking. Gilchrist. Tonali choosing not to take any risks. Be a Villa throw-in. Hotson. Reiki. Gets that down really well. Good play by him. The youngster who has started this game quite bright in midfield. Bailey drifting out to the right-hand side. McGinn's there as well, as is Reiki once more.
Yes, neat and tidy that from Villa. They can switch to the left-hand side if they get his heads up.
Mings joins the attack as he steps out of defence. Every outfield player.
Just wonder that situation there where they work it really well. Nice intricate play, nice and tight, and there's an opportunity to switch the ball. And I just wonder if that's a Premier League game, it's done with more urgency. You know, that pass, Mings strolls in, he strikes. That would be, get the ball in, zip it into his feet, can you go 1v1? And it was just a little bit laboured, but of course, we are, as we spoke, Max, before the game, these are very strange friendlies.
Well, here's a chance now to pick out Dean. Let's continue to surge forward on the left-hand side, up against Brooking. Brooking as well to block the cross, but it will be another corner for Aston Villa.
Yeah, Dean's got to check his run. There's no one in the box. He wants to have a touch, then move it again to widen the angle. But again, as I said, if that was a Premier League game, I think Dean just whips that across the face of the goal and is said to Watkins or whoever's in the box, get on the end of it.
Douglas Luiz once more lines up. Trying to curl another one in instead, switching it up. Or a better angle, delivered towards that far post. Webster clears.
Yeah, went to sleep a little bit. You can clearly see that's something they've worked on. It's a short corner, it's a short corner. It's not played into the box with height, played into the box along the ground. A little 1-2. They managed to get the cross in towards that far post. Quite a clever free kick. Sorry, quite a clever corner, I have to say.
Just 5 minutes remaining of first half, although there will presumably be time added on due to the lengthy stoppage. Looks like a bit of the zip has been taken out of the pace of this game.
Yes, it has, and sporadically you see bits and pieces of it. Nearly we saw that there. McGinn tries to play the ball over the top from Watkins. I'm not making excuses for the players, but this is hard. Yeah, to get yourself up for a friendly. I know there's a trophy, but you know what I mean. And Villa are playing, you know, as close to a full-strength side as Emery would look at. There's a number of players. Clearly, the World Cup is going to affect it, but they're playing against a third-string Chelsea team. It's a very strange, difficult scenario for both teams to try and get their game going.
Mings, Zareki, now Kamara, better from Aston Villa in midfield. Maybe this time floating out to the left. Dean can deliver towards Watkins, just a bit ahead of him.
Yeah, I wonder if the ball could have come in first time. He's a little bit of frustration there from Watkins. I think he makes the run. Once that ball comes out, I wonder if it can come in now. But he comes back, that's fine. Once that ball comes back, then you're now the momentum as a striker, you're now going back to go in. It's always harder. You'd rather continue your run. I think that ball, perhaps, I think what his argument will be, put the ball in first time.
Brooking. Now Hutchinson. We've seen him do this sort of thing before. Picking the ball up deep, driving forward, taking on a number of different players. That time he was slightly outnumbered. Chelsea will try it down the left-hand side instead. Rankin. Kukurea, that's a clever ball. Aubameyang had gone slightly too early.
I'm guessing there's no VAR here, Max, but you don't need it for that one. Yes, he is offside. Just makes his run. You see that Mings just stands in front, allows him to go. Yeah, he's maybe a foot offside.
Something a bit different from Kukurea, though. A bit more direct. The Chelsea left back. Mings to his left back, Luca Dean. Watkins and Bailey both making the same run.
Do you know what? That ball's got to go in there because there's plenty of grass and our two centre-halves have dropped in. They have to. There's no pressure on the ball. You have to drop. And I think they would have been onside had that ball been played. They opt to come back inside and keep possession instead.
Tussling away with Josh Brooking. Referee saying 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, I think.
Yeah, legs getting tangled on both sides there, and they stumble and trip. In the end, the ball's gone back to Olsen.
It's again the goalkeeper. It's more, he does just dwell on it slightly too long.
He does, doesn't he? He invites the challenge, and there's a free kick that was given against Aubameyang, but because his touch isn't on point, he invites the challenge, and Aubameyang's duty bound to go in. He's on the ball again now. Okay, he's gone first time on this occasion, and his weaker left foot is going to have a Chelsea throw-in. But if your first touch is not good enough as a goalkeeper, expect to be challenged.
Doesn't inspire too much confidence, does it, from your back four ahead of you? Here's Hall. Reiki. Bring Bailey into play. Lewis Hall has got the benefit of that wicked deflection that it took, although the referee's happy to let play move on. Bailey facing up Rankin. We'll wait for reinforcements.
Plenty of space on this left-hand side for Dean. Conson can see him, he doesn't.
Here he is now, the Frenchman. Louise, to play between him and Boubacar Kamara, developing a real partnership in midfield. There's Dean again on this left-hand side. Brooking chases it down. It's just enough to steer that one to safety.
Yeah, he's pulled the triggers. It's a nice ball from Douglas Luiz. In the end, Brooking just does enough to make sure that the strike isn't on target and goes behind for a throw-in. 5 minutes of injury time. We're nearly through that first minute.
Luiz, I fancy one from there. Straight out Bettinelli.
Yeah, a bit of space on the edge of the box. No one closed him down at all. In the end, Lewis Hall does go out. Not quick enough for me. Needs to make sure you get his head down earlier, especially with some of the technical ability of Luis. In the end, the shot's quite tame.
Chelsea just about edging it in terms of shots. But that is the key statistic at the top left of your screen there. Aston Villa found the net on more occasions. Here's Hutchinson looking to change that. He did rattle the frame of the goal in the early stages. Brooking teasing one in, but Olsen very quick off his line.
He's looked good, Hutchinson, actually, on this right-hand side. I've been quite impressed with him. Very brave, runs up players, commits players, not afraid to have a shot, takes a bit of responsibility. In the cross needs to. There's only two in the box. It needs to be with a little bit more pace because it's got a little bit of air under it. It's nice for the goalkeeper. It's catching practice for the goalkeeper on that occasion.
Hutchinson takes it quickly. Here he is again. Brooking.
Just keep possession at the minute, Chelsea. Moving the ball from left to right across the back four. Brooking to come inside.
See the work that Emery's done on the shape of his team.
Yeah.
Very disciplined in there.
That's nice.
Forcing Chelsea to go long. Aubameyang had looked to stretch into the channels. And he forces a mistake from Tyrone Mings.
Yeah, Tyrone Mings has to go in there on his first touch. Aubameyang does enough, actually, physically, just puts his arm across his chest. And once he does that, he's had the touch. He's going back towards his own goal. Just, there's not a lot he can do with it, I'm afraid. In the end, he doesn't trust his goalkeeper. He'd rather defend the corner than give it to his feet.
It's Hutchinson who delivers again. Over the head of Mings. Thankful for Kamara behind him, booting that one to safety. To the final 2 minutes of this first half. I wonder how many changes we may see at the interval.
Both clubs, I expect.
Watkins. Bailey's ahead of him. Watkins continued his run down the middle. Bailey couldn't escape the attention of those Chelsea defenders. Brooking.
Referee might give him a free kick on the edge of the box there, Max. But Aubameyang looked like he was tugged. Goes down. The referee didn't see anything that he thought warranted a free kick.
Cucurella, Jorginho, is there one chance? Well, one final chance this half for a Chelsea attack. Ball's beaten to it by Arjun Reiki. One time sliding challenge from him. Now Bailey can go up against Bash Humphreys. Brent McGinn into play once more, making a habit of arriving into the box to find Reiki. Off the post. Both teams strike the woodwork. Really decent effort, this one.
Yeah, it's a really nice effort. McGinn finds himself on the edge of the box. Thought he might try to pull the trigger himself. In the end, he just sets him up, drifts it, but instead just trying to find that far corner. In the end, the ball does hit the crossbar. Cucurella's not happy about something. He's having a deep discussion with the referee. It's half-time.
Half-time here at Al Nyan Stadium, and it's that man there who's made the difference, John McGinn. After just 7 minutes, Murray Hutchinson rattled the frame of the goal. Arjun Reiki as well. It is just the one goal that separates the two sides. Half-time, Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 1. Let's take a look at the key moments then from that first half. Chelsea did start the game by trying to stretch the opposition. They did so through Amari Hutchinson, who has been one of the key players in blue, finding Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Back to Hutchinson again, but straight at Olsen.
Yeah, it's well worked on that left-hand side. In the end, the shot's not good enough. Olsen gathers that, not enough power. Takes a slight deflection, but straight down his throat.
And then this is the moment that has mattered in the first half. Good build-up play in midfield. And then it's this nice touch here from Ollie Watkins, which allows John McGinn to slot home.
Yeah, it's a neat and tidy goal, this. Ollie Watkins, I thought he dummied it, but he's got a little flick on it. Great awareness. Opens up down their left, down right-hand side. Just drifts the ball in. Once he's done that, it just gets a little flick. Kukuraz had to come across. Everyone's had to come across. And there's two, actually. If it isn't going to be McGinn that puts it in, the Bailey's behind him, but he slots it home.
And Chelsea working their way from the back, picking out Amari Hutchinson here. Showed off first his pace to keep this one in play. Nice bit of individual skill. Then how about this for wrapping your foot round the ball and rattling the frame of the goal.
It's a great effort. Right-hand side, cuts across. He stood up, Dean. Once he gets in 1v1, it's really good. He shapes up to come inside, goes it on the outside of him, cuts across again, has another chops again, left foot, drills it. Desperately unlucky not to hit the target.
Incredible technique on display from Amari Hutchinson once more. And Charlie Webster, another youngster, bringing Lewis Hall in. Square for Josh Brooking to try his luck from range. But Tyrone Mings quickly across.
Yeah, opened up for him. No problem, having a shot there.
And then forward it went for Ollie Watkins. Marcus Bettinelli had to watch that one closely.
Yes, a lovely ball. The skip of the pass just off the grass there, just eludes Watkins. I think he bounces further away than he first thought.
And this is the moment that Aston Villa hit the post as well.
It's a nice strike, isn't it? Just lazily walks onto it, whips it on the inside of his foot. The goal is there, perfectly weighted pass from McGinn, and then just hits the upright.
Well, here's what the women's team have been up to during the World Cup break, starting with the Women's Super League highlights against Leicester.
Hayes, 300th game in charge of Chelsea. Who's needing to respond after Manchester United's thumping win against Villa earlier sent them top of the table. Chelsea starting on the front foot themselves here, and they lead already. Guro Wrighton, 4 minutes in, and Chelsea ahead at the King Power. A venue where they won 9-0 last season, and they're off to the perfect start this time around too. Leicester have lost every game they've played in the WSL this season. They've already changed managers. They're already getting torn apart by Chelsea, and there could be another chance here. That's a terrible clearance straight to Kirby. It'll come for Wrighton again, and she squares it for Jessie Fleming to tap in. The freedom of the Foxes area for Chelsea there, and Fleming the ultimate beneficiary. Clever cutback from Wrighton. Already looks a very long way back for a sorry Leicester City side. Now their flag stayed down here. Goalkeeper came and got nowhere near it. It's Sam Kerr. No kind of angle for the shot at the moment. Eventually Lambourne holds on. Could have been a third. Right close to her second. Here's Wrighton. It's a nice weight of pass. It's found its way through to Kirby, and she stabbed it on. One more for Sam Kerr. And the only surprise is that the net isn't rippling again, because that is the sort of chance that she usually gobbles up. Rare foray forward for Leicester. Quickly snuffed out by Millie Bright. Brighton's won it back here. She's got Kerr to her left. Kirby getting up in support as well. Nice way to pass for Sam Kerr. Oh, she's hit the post this time. Well, she will be fuming that she hasn't scored yet. Tried to beat Lambourne at a near post, ended up hitting it. Leicester just cannot get any sort of sustained period of possession. Goodwin giving it up cheaply there. And here come the Blues again. Here's Wrighton again, and that spells trouble. And that's a good ball for Fran Kirby, and she's made it 3. Chelsea running riot in Leicestershire again. Lovely ball in from Wrighton. Chested down by Kirby and flicked in. Ball flicked on by Niamh Charles and in for another. This is incredible. 41 minutes on the clock and Chelsea are 4-0 ahead. And the game is surely won already. Lovely near post header this from Niamh Charles. So clever. Leicester begging the referee to blow the whistle for half-time. Oh, what a pass from Wrighton! And Kerr's got her goal now. Just before the whistle blew. Sam Kerr gets in on the fun as well. It's another Guro Wrighton assist. She scored 1 and made 4 in the first half, the Norwegian. Kerr gets the goal, but look at that pass. Is there any crumb of comfort whatsoever for Leicester in this game, I wonder? They're on the attack now with Flint, the half-time substitute, who at least warms the gloves of Ann-Katrin Berger. Chelsea on the hunt for more goals. That's not a good clearance. There's a chance for another for Fleming, and she's not going to pass it up. 5 minutes into the second half, and Chelsea score their 6th goal of the game. If Willie Kirk thought he had a big job on at Leicester City, well, that's getting rammed home today. That's a good save from Berger. Most difficult thing she's had to do in the game by a distance. Flint again, the half-time substitute. At least she's showing a bit of life for Leicester. That's a really good tip over. Millie Bright totally missed that. Might be a goal back for Leicester here if they can bundle it in. Maybe this time, blazed over the crossbar by Molly Pike. That kind of day for the Foxes. Bright with a big crossfield switch. Plenty of options in the middle here. Bethany England off the bench, trying to sniff out a goal. She's done just that. Off the bench and onto the score sheet from Abdelina's cross. Bethany England makes it 7-0 to Chelsea. Leicester will be sick to the back teeth of the sight of the Blues. Might not be done with the scoring yet. England looking for another. Goalkeeper's made a horrible mess of it. Kirby says thank you very much. 8-0 on a ground where they scored 9 last season. Kirby's hurt herself in the act of getting that. Still a minimum of 8 minutes left for Leicester to endure here. They've been battered by the Blues.
It was a thumping win, wasn't it, to take them right to the very top of the Women's Super League table. And given how the Manchester derby finished earlier on in the WSL, a 1-1 draw at Manchester City, it means that Chelsea have an opportunity later on to put a bit of distance between them and Manchester United when they face Reading. That game kicks off this evening at 6:45. After that, they are back in Champions League action on Friday with the opportunity to secure top spot in Group A following their draw against Real Madrid.
Goalkeeper's clawed at it, but not really got it clear. Back in from Cuthbert, still it's loose. Sam Kerr, oh, she's hit the bar. Had 2 bites of the cherry there. Chelsea almost ahead. These are not convincing. Cuthbert nearly scored, and then Kerr so close. Good ball from James. Kerr again. Again so close. What's she got to do to score, Sam Kerr? Berger looking for an option. Oh, she's giving it straight to Caroline Weir, and that's going to be a goal for Real Madrid. Caroline Weir, the former Manchester City player, the beneficiary, after a rare mistake from Anne-Katrin Berger. So Chelsea in an unfamiliar position, having to come from behind. Ingles ball, looking for Guro right in. Now then, that might well be a penalty. It is. Referee in no doubt. And Chelsea just before the hour with the perfect chance to get level. Ivana's challenge. Right turn. Oh, he's come back off the goalkeeper and gone in. Unfortunate for Misa, not least because that will go down as an own goal. But Chelsea back level. Any goal now, surely the winner. Here's Wrighton. Oh, she's bent that beautifully into Kerr's path. And Misa got a touch to that. It's a brilliant save from the Real Madrid goalkeeper. And once again, Sam Kerr is thwarted. And it's going to finish all square here.
Yeah, and the Hayes' side firing on all cylinders and flying in all competitions. Certainly could do with a goal for Chelsea's men's side in this second period, though. So far, it's Aston Villa who are securing bragging rights in the inaugural Al-Wada Challenge Cup. Jason, a look back on that first half and perhaps some of the youngsters who have impressed you.
Yeah, the one that jumps off the page is Lewis Hall for me. I thought he was excellent. Brookie has had a lot of action, as has Hutchinson on the right-hand side. Can't help but think about Broja, though. That knee injury there. My thoughts, everyone here at Stamford Bridge, and with him, and hoping and praying that is not as bad as it looked. But yeah, there's been some bright performances. I think Rankins looked quite lively on the left-hand side since that substitution for Broja.
Charlie Webster as well in midfield.
Yes.
He's popped up, hasn't he? He's kept things ticking over.
Yes, he has, and this, I said at the beginning of before the game, Max, that this is an opportunity for these boys to be in front of the manager. You know, the manager's watching in at half time. What can we improve? What can we do better? I think, to be honest, I think we largely handled Aston Villa very, very well. This is a very strong side that Villa have put out, and I think we coped admirably. Of course, just that one goal separates the two sides. I expect there to be some substitutions, Max. I think that this will be an opportunity for the manager to change things at half-time. You have thought on the hour mark that would be where he'd be thinking as well.
Yeah, you do wonder as well, with the number of young players who will likely be involved in the Papa John's Trophy on Tuesday against Cheltenham. Maybe Potter's had a suggestion from the academy back home. Just how about we just keep everyone fresh and make sure everyone comes back?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? He's got to put a side out.
Yeah.
You see the side that he's put out now, and it's littered with young academy players, and you know that's a good thing. But of course, there's other games to be thought of, and that will be, I'm sure, throughout the next 45 minutes plus, that will be managed very well.
What about the returning players then from the World Cup? Graham Potter spoke this week. We heard about him. We heard from him in the build-up to today's game, saying that he wanted to give those players an opportunity to have a week away from things, just to get not only physically right, but mentally and emotionally as well.
Yeah, I mean, this we don't know how the fallout for this World Cup is going to affect teams. We've seen Jesus pick up an injury, rumoured to be out 2, 3, maybe 4 months of the season because of an operation that he's had. There's going to be some fatigue. Players have gone away. You're absolutely right to not just mention the physical side of it, but emotional. I mean, a lot of these players have been through, especially the England boys that we're going to be welcoming back. It's been an emotional time. Of course, the news, of course, that Raheem Sterling had to return because of the incident with his family. So there's a lot of other things going on that need to be thought about, and how you make preparations for them coming back for what's going to be an incredibly difficult second half, or even not second half, but 2/3 of the season still remain.
Lots to consider, lots of variables that, as you pointed out, Jason, we've not had to contend with before.
No, and look, all eyes are on Bournemouth on the 27th. You know, we had some disappointing results and performances going into the World Cup. I think it was a time perhaps that we could reset, give Potter a bit of time to re-establish where he wants to go. But of course, it's all well and good me saying that, but most of the players that we're talking about have been away on international duty at the World Cup. So they will be coming back in by bits, you know, drip-fed back into his squad. So it'll be fascinating to see how he does. His team selection looks like mentally now, bearing in mind we've seen Thiago Silva and Mace leave the tournament. But of course he's gone into the semi-final. So you would have thought now, because he's got to that situation, he's going to play on the Saturday, third and fourth playoff. That game takes place. So he now, you would have thought, is written off for that game against Bournemouth.
It does mean that for the players who are involved today, certainly the senior players, and perhaps Lewis Hall, who has experienced senior football for Chelsea this season, are likely to be in Graham Potter's plans. Interesting to see how many minutes they're able to complete in the United Arab Emirates against Aston Villa.
Yeah, he wouldn't have done himself any harm in that first half performance, Lewis. Been very impressed with him.
Kamara, back for Louise. Two of them just playing passes to each other. And that's a real understanding. Since Boubacar Kamara arrived. Got back to fitness as well. He had a bit of a tough start to life at Aston Villa. Boubacar Kamara. And here's Webster. There was an opportunity, wasn't there? Yes. The passing lane shot very quickly.
He did, and he looked up, and he could see he wanted to play Hutchinson in, but the moment the pass had to be played at a certain time, and that opportunity left. And he's done well, actually. He hasn't forced it, he kept possession.
Cucurella. No changes for Chelsea at the interval. Villa have brought on one player, Caden Young, right at the bottom of your screen, wearing number 72. Very promising 16-year-old. Nice from Aubameyang to pick out Hutchinson. And Charlie Webster running in field. Instead, it's a switch of play for Rankin. And now back for Hall. Well, needed a quick stop there from Olsen.
Oh, it's a brilliant move from Chelsea. Lovely ball from Hutchinson. Rankin lays the ball back on the edge of the box. Lewis Hall just walks onto it. He thinks he scored. He just picked out the spot. In the end, it's a decent save from Olsen. Gets a fingertip to it, flicks it behind for a corner. But really good, creative, intelligent football.
Hutchinson swings this one in towards the near post. It was Brooking who was up there. Still not cleared by Villa. Aubameyang tries volleying goalwards. Brooking was in there again. There is Aston Villa injury as Concert, who's down.
Didn't see the incident, Max, actually. I couldn't quite see what happened, but the ball does fall to Aubameyang. Can't quite get a shot away. It's a really lovely layoff there from Rankin. Just walks onto it in the end. Also, he collapses well. It's hard for goalkeepers of the size of him to collapse and get down to your feet as quickly as he does. It's a really smart save, actually.
As you said, Paul was convinced he'd scored.
Yeah, me too.
Paul left his foot.
Yeah, me too. Thought there was enough on it. He's a big boy, Olsen. To get down as quick as he did, he's done well.
Cucurella. Jorginho back for Humphreys.
Potter reasonably happy with what he's seen, Max, first half, I think.
It's a much better start, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a bright start to the second half, but Villa have got some possession. It's been cut out by Jorginho. Plays a lovely ball over the top. Chelsea got a chance here.
Yeah, Aubameyang is the man over. Rankin's up there as well. Hutchinson might go himself. Let's find Rankin. Hutchinson. And the angle continued to narrow.
It's a great ball from Jorginho. Hutchinson does so well. Comes across the pitch. The attack's still alive.
Hutchinson back for Webster. Trying to dig out across. Aubameyang was up there. It's an easy claim in the end for Olsen.
Yeah, lovely ball from Jorginho over the top of the fullback. In the end, he cuts across Hutchinson and kind of runs out of a bit of space. And they defend it quite well. They've got numbers back, Aston Villa, pack in the box. In the end, the cross comes over. Doesn't look too convincing. Comes off his chin, I think. Goes into his arms.
Not the most orthodox catch you'll ever see. Mings to Bailey. Good play from him, and Watkins can try his luck up against Gilchrist. He did really well to match him for pace, also get his body in the way of the ball.
Yeah, he does ever so well. He'd have known, and he'd be wary of the pace of Watkins, but deals with it ever so well, as do the whole of the team. And now we can start another attack. It's been a bright start, actually. Opening 4.5 minutes of this second half, we've looked bright.
Gilchrist. That one over the top. Yang possibly went a bit too early. Mings was underneath it anyway.
Yeah, there's no pressure on the ball. If there's no pressure, you can't step up. You've got to go with the runners. He does well, Mings. It's a lovely run from Bangyan, trying to get in behind the two centre halves. Didn't quite have enough weight on it. It's good pressure from Chelsea.
Mings. He is under pressure from Webster. Now here's Bailey, who's got bags of pace. Use it up against Gilchrist. Mara's up there too. As is McGinn, headed away by Humphreys, only as far as Bailey. Still going, the Jamaican. That with McGinn. He was leaning back, he was off balance. Sends that one well off target.
Yeah, and it's on his right foot. He's very left-footed, isn't he, McGinn? He does well, Bailey. Just goes out, drags the players with him, plays the ball to the edge of the box of McGinn. Just a little tug of the shirt from Jorginho, just enough of the arm just to put him off balance. He's not particularly great with his right foot. He's got a wonderful left peg. But the right one there, disappointing.
John McGinn is a player who struggled this season before Unai Emery came in. Stephen Gerrard, of course, stricken the captaincy from Tyrone Mings. Led to Tyrone Mings playing better and John McGinn playing worse with the added scrutiny that came with it. So, interesting to see what Unai Emery can do. Star men.
He's a very good manager. He's proven that. His time at Arsenal didn't go down particularly well, and of course been given away as a chance for Chelsea here.
Yeah, Hutchinson and Aubameyang's ahead of him. Looks to go for Rankin again. Now Jorginho. Brooking arriving in support from right back. He's now a long way away from the penalty area, and he gives it straight back to Tyrone Mings. See the frustration from Chelsea's number 9. Watkins will be able to stretch his leg, but again, Gilchrist is fast. Just to do just enough, Gilchrist. And somehow, Aston Villa failed to make Chelsea pay on the counter-attack.
Yeah, a bit of miscommunication there between the goalkeeper and his defenders. The ball's been given away and Villa come again.
Caden Young, 16-year-old, the youngest player on Villa's travelling squad. To his namesake, Ashley Young. More than double his age.
16-year-old travelling away with the first team. What a dream, eh?
Here he is again, Caden Young. Opportunity to run straight at Cucurella, who's gone in with a big challenge. Wins the ball fairly. Welcome to men's football.
Yeah, he's run at Cucurella, hasn't he? Cucurella's just said no. He's going to drop his shoulder back, so not trying to go round him. You never know.
But you put in a few of those challenges on the younger players in training.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're obviously wary. He's a 16-year-old boy. But at the same time, you just said it there, welcome to men's football. And if you're going to enter the field of play with seasoned pros, you're going to have to try and live up. No one's going to give you a pass. No one's going to make life easy for you. This is a great instruction for him. You know, I'm delighted for him. 16 playing away, you know, international friendly against Chelsea. What's not to love?
for us all. Another teenager in Chelsea's books. So Hutchinson and Webster. They've gone ahead of him. It's back with Hall, although Bailey's there to intercept. And Villa springing counter-attack. Watkins. Greer. Covered a lot of ground to get back and support his teammates in defence.
Nice and neat. Ball playing in there, can we switch it? There's a bit of space on that right-hand side. But Villa, you can see that the 4-4-2 shape that they've got. Bailey and Watkins are the ones that are up top.
Wonder how long it will be before we see the introduction of Danny Ings. Scored twice from the bench against Brighton on Thursday. And into the World Cup break in good form as well. Here come Chelsea. Just slipped the wrong side. Amari Hutchinson into his blind spot.
He does so well on that right-hand side. But, you know, he cuts inside, and then it's the selection of pass and choice of pass. He's not ready for it, Hutchinson. He doesn't anticipate it. He's making a run, I think, to just draw defenders away as opposed to get it. There's a little bit of space on this left-hand side, but nonetheless, I thought he'd done well.
More progressive play from Josh Brooking, who can play in the middle of the back four as well as at right back. It's probably where he's most comfortable. Kamara for Louise.
The managers will be looking, I'm sure, to try and make some changes.
Hayden Young.
Nice size, the boy, for 16.
Now McGinn finds Bailey through the middle. Good save by Bettinelli. Dean will keep it alive. Bailey's there once more. It's a good towering header though at the far post by Bash Humphries.
Yeah,
excellent defending.
Lovely move from Villa. It's a lovely ball there from McGinn. Slides it into Bailey. It's a good first touch. Takes it first time on his right foot, then his favoured left foot. But he does well. Bettinelli spreads himself, goes wide. In the end, the ball is cleared behind for an Aston Villa corner. Very close to being 2-0.
Smart stop. Bettinelli, just one Chelsea appearance to his name. Did come in the FA Cup last year. Organising to deal with this injury. Douglas Luiz, still not cleared yet. So he's looking for Dean on the overlap. Now, Rankin can get this out of his feet. He's got some grass to run into.
That's really well. Douglas Luiz closed him down. He does well to keep the ball not just alive, but keep in possession.
Hutchinson, again looking over the top for Aubameyang. The two of them would have known each other from Arsenal.
Yeah, the ball is a nice idea, but he's just got crowded out. Aubameyang, he comes to one side, Mings the other. They're making sure there's no way through. In the end, Olsen gathers it quite comfortably. I just really think the game is starting to, you know, a bit of malaise about it. Just dip into slow, and all of a sudden the game just kicks into life.
Well, as you say that, they've almost gone into a standstill. Eventually, Olsen has passed the ball, approaching the hour mark. The sun has gone down in Abu Dhabi. It's still pretty warm. 25 degrees, and we kicked off. Here's Watkins. Now Young. Greer again, staying with him, very close.
He does well there, the young boy. Greer shepherds him away from the danger zone, forcing him back, but he keeps possession.
Now McGinn. Again, urging Dean forward. Louise with plenty of time to pick his pass. It goes again to the French left-back Dean. Gilchrist underneath that one.
Yeah, Villa's movement's decent actually. Trying to threaten him behind, stretching Chelsea's back line. In the end, the ball goes out onto that left-hand side. Cross doesn't miss that first man out. It's gone behind for a corner.
Here was the chance for
Should score.
Leon Bailey again.
Yeah, he should score there. He's got the open goal. Take nothing away from the keeper, but really, he should not be allowed to get anything on this.
So nicely, didn't it? Just like the McGinn opening goal.
Yeah,
Out of his feet, onto his favoured left foot. Unable to make that one count. Is an Aston Villa corner though. So that cross was headed behind by Alfie Gilchrist. It's going to be Luca Dean to deliver. So Mings is in there, it is towards him. Banyan can bring this one away for Rankin. It's an excellently timed sliding challenge by McGinn though. Dean can deliver again. This time Bettinelli punches. Is there a counter-attack on for Chelsea? There is. This is the man that you want with the ball at his feet. Murray Hutchinson. Just having to delay slightly while he waits for some support. Fortunately, that allows Aston Villa to get back into their defensive shape.
Yeah, and it's one thing waiting for support, but what that does do, absolutely right. They can, the troops can just drop back into their defensive positions. Nearly an opportunity, Max, to break.
You know all about what Unai Emery can do with sides that are perceived to be the underdogs. Villarreal, Sevilla, likes to set them up to be hard to beat.
Yep.
It's to do with Aston Villa the remainder of this season. Seeing the groundwork of it here this afternoon. Given away by Rankin. Now Watkins has got Hayden Young in support on the right-hand side. Young versus Kukurea, part 3 this time. Trying to bring a teammate into play.
Cross actually hasn't got enough pace on it. It doesn't actually go out. The ball stays right by the corner flag. In the end, Chelsea do clear it. Given away. Aston Villa come again.
That's from Douglas Luiz. Trying to get things moving a bit faster. And this is where Murray Hutchinson will do his damage. Yeah, Aubameyang went too early.
Joe, there's a moment there where he wants the ball played just a fraction earlier. When that pass doesn't come, there's a moment here he goes, okay, can you make that now? It's just goes offside.
It means Villa can make another few changes. Callum Chambers and Danny Ings are the senior figures among them. So like-for-like change up top. Leon Bailey off, Danny Ings on. Ludwig Augustinsson, one of the players to enter the fray. Ollie Watkins has run his race out there. Needs an opportunity for Cameron Archer, another very highly rated striker, to come through the Villa Academy. Luca Dean, who has been playing predominantly as a left winger, makes way for Augustinsson. Meanwhile, for Chelsea, 2 changes. The one on the right is the one that you've been talking about a lot, Jason. Cesare Casadei coming on in midfield. Malik Mothersill as well, the man who's been in red-hot form for the development side. Back-to-back braces, the Papa John's Trophy. And of Opportunity for him to lead the line for Chelsea's senior setup.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing Castells, see how he shapes up.
Young in for McGinn. Swivels away from Lewis Hall. Ings straight offside.
Yeah, first mistake for me from Lewis. Just gets a little bit too tight to McGinn. He's a wily old campaigner. Turns him, swivels in the end. Danny Ings has run. Doesn't need to really go in there as quick as he does. A bit of grass, he could have just held his run a bit. In the end, the offside flag comes up.
But aside from Emi Martinez being at the World Cup, Aston Villa are pretty much full strength in the players that they do have available. Still two long-term injuries, Philippe Coutinho being one of them. He should be back in time for their clash when Premier League football returns against Liverpool. Diego Carlos is the other big one, suffering a ruptured Achilles.
Yeah, and that's a huge blow to Steven Gerrard at the time. Felt that maybe Mings was going to get back into that team because that was why he stripped him the captaincy, but then Carlos picked it off. It was the first his debut. Done his knees out for the foreseeable.
£26 million arrival from Sevilla. He's hoping to return after the World Cup. Given how he broke down during Villa's win over Everton way back in August, having to undergo surgery to rebuild that torn Achilles. Slightly longer. Like with Chelsea's injured players though, he is doing his rehab with the rest of the team. Bettinelli had to get that one right.
Yeah, a bit of a mix-up at the back, and the referee has given a free kick.
It was Josh Brooking who was trying to shield that one.
Yeah.
Picks up the game's first yellow card.
Yeah, so Brooking thinks there's a little bit more pace on the pass than there is. Not sure it's a booking or a foul, if I'm totally honest, but he does get caught. Yeah, there's no doubt he grabs his shirt. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'll give that.
Archer did look to be away there. Josh Brooking not taking any risk. So he'll take the yellow card instead. Cameron Archer, one of those players in action today who is linked with a January loan move. Use this as a bit of a shot window, I imagine.
Absolutely. Like I said, there's always someone in the stand or at home watching.
Louise over this one. Ashley Young as well. And John McGinn. Augustinson. Charged down immediately by Hutchinson. Ings, Augustinson. Well read by Charlie Webster.
It's defending that situation very well now. Can we look to break? Pitch. So that's very difficult. It's wayward.
It's the right idea from Josh Brooking. The space did open up for Cucurella on this near side. On execution.
Yeah, the pass itself was the worst. Actually, it was his execution of it. Part of the idea was good. Bit of pressure here from Villa. They've camping inside our final third at the moment.
Here comes Cassidy. Big unit of a midfielder, isn't he? Elegant as well, the way that he strides forward. See why there's so much excitement around him. That goal that he scored as well against Peterborough. He can hit them too. It's drawn comparisons to a number of former Chelsea midfielders who, for his sake, I won't name, just not to heap the pressure on.
I would. Don't say the F word just yet. Yes, of course. Frank is the epitome of a number 8. I mean, the way he played that role, arriving, scoring, technically a brilliant footballer, scores all different types of goals as well. Went for Spain actually scoring headers. There's a period where we seem to consistently hit some headers, but most notably known for arriving right man, right place. Probably the best goal-scoring midfielder of his generation. Certainly the numbers he stacked up for club country was pretty phenomenal.
Jorginho. For Josh Brooking, who has now tucked into the centre-back. Over the top, looking for Alec Mothersill.
They're holding that line quite well, actually, Villa, with a great view along the line there. They're not being drawn into it. They're going to stay together. It's a really nice straight line. Everyone together just allows him to wander in the offside position.
Looks like there will be another Chelsea change. Ben Elliott just receiving his final instructions on the touchline. Really heartwarming story in terms of his career. Hasn't all gone his way. Struggled with a couple of notable injuries between the ages of 14 and 16. I'm sure he ever thought that he'd be able to get to this stage. Certainly not going out on the tour with the first team. Here he is, and he will get an opportunity for the final 20 minutes. Humphreys in for Hall.
Offside, yeah, he's just wandered in offside position, and the ball again. He wants it a bit earlier, ranking. I think that's what he's saying. Again, the high line from Villa, really well done, defended ever so well. It comes from an offside position to receive the ball.
Just wondering there, Jason, with the player that's passed the ball, Lewis Hall, as a third midfielder in this Chelsea system. Got Mateo Kovacic, who's obviously going to be at the World Cup. N'Golo Kante still out injured. Is this a player that we could see in central midfield for the first team?
Potentially, and as I said, I've made that point a couple of times. Someone is always watching, and it's an opportunity. I've been impressed with him. Every time I see Lewis Hall, whether it be in the Carabao Cup or wherever it might be, he's a very accomplished, confident young man, and always come away finished at Manchester City in the Carabao Cup. I think he was the man of the match. He was outstanding on the night. He can play a variation of different roles on this left-hand side. But you're right to make the point, because Cover's obviously not going to be back for that first game. Jorginho is here now, but he's putting himself in the mix.
No Ruben, of course. He's obviously travelled with the party out to Abu Dhabi. Ben Elliott does join the action. He's a midfielder as well. I'm wondering where this leaves Lewis Hall, who seems to have moved over to a left-sided centre-back role.
So look,
here's Bash Humphrey, who's gone across to the right-hand side. Now playing with his third defensive partner of the evening.
Yeah, it looks like Lewis Hall has dropped into that back line. Still think it's a 4.
Maybe not, we'll see. Let's take a look where Guerrero ends up.
Yeah, Cucurella will be the key to this. He's played a few times under Potter here at Chelsea. Is that left-hand side of a 3? Fair to say there's been 1 or 2 games where it's not quite worked out. Still
Chambers. Sneaking it from Olsen. Just going to pick out Danny Ings. Lewis Hall, who was almost a bit too over keen to get on the end of that one.
Yeah, a little overzealous in the challenge. He's waiting for it, Ings. As a first touch, waits for the challenge, goes down. Lewis Hall there just needs to stay on his feet, don't nibble. Let him have his first touch, then maybe.
Actually was kind of the man of the match. City also man of the match on his debut against Chesterfield way back in January, Lewis Hall.
Remember that game as well.
Played well against Newcastle in November. Perhaps should have scored against Man City. He has had some introduction to the highest level. And it looks like he will be in and around Graham Potter's squad for the rest of the season. Spare a January loan move, of course. Promotion looks to be as permanent as it can be. Elliott for Webster. Hutchinson, who's a bit quieter in the past 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, Chelsea still looking to get in behind that line that they're holding very, very well, Villa. I wouldn't necessarily call it a high line, but it's pretty rigid, very well organised. You can see the coaching that's gone into it. They're staying together. No one's dropping, leading in one side. CHELSEA.
Rankin, down by Cassidy. He's continued his run through the middle, but it's Ben Elliott who's threatening to line up a strike. Instead, it's out with Harry Hutchinson against Augustinson.
You want to see that ball coming. Once you've done your trick, you cut the ball back. The defenders, once you just step up 3 yards, and what that does, that either leaves them in offside position, or the striker goes, he has to go with you to stand side. But because he's going away from the goal, that momentum that they always look and crosses come and goes.
Chambers. Pass manages to evade the advancing Jorginho. Oh, there's an opportunity for Villa with Archer, and then it's Augustinson. Stings the palms of Bettinelli.
Yeah, shot the edge of the box. He does well, Bettinelli. It's not the most ferocious shot he'll ever face, but nonetheless, he's got to get his body behind it. He does.
Hutchinson.
Game's taken a bit of a lull, Max, hasn't it? It's not been one of those games, understandably, where there's high intensity, high energy. There have been periods, there have been moments for both sets. But you know, right now there's just under 15 minutes remaining of this game. It does feel as though a little bit like this. The workout has been achieved. The purpose has been achieved.
Big forward, and Archer's inside the penalty area. Offside eventually. He's ready to pull the trigger, Cameron Archer.
Yeah, he's somewhere offside. Good decision, easy one to make actually for the linesman, with a cut of the grass as he looks across that line.
There's another look. His other involvement, teeing up with big Augustinson. As he mentioned, one wasn't really going to trouble Bettinelli. Very close to the goalkeeper. Now into the final 15 minutes. It's still John McGinn's goal after just 7. She's deciding this game at the moment. And Chelsea force their way forward. It's a clear-cut opportunity.
You would have thought there'd be one more opportunity left in this game for Chelsea. Haven't been many, to be honest.
Aston Villa have looked the more threatening side going forward, understandably, with the number of established figures they have in their lineup. It's not to say that Chelsea haven't caused their opponents any issues. Just be looking for someone in blue to just up the tempo slightly, get them moving on the front foot, although for now they're going to be defending. Archer's made the move forward ahead of Ings instead. Former England striker is out young on this right-hand side. He's met with another crunching challenge from Kukurea.
Good challenge that.
Cassidy.
And to come back though, there's that momentum that by winning the tackle, getting ourselves 30, 40 yards out of the pitch is been allowed to capitalise. In the end, Aston Villa dropped deep and they're going to throw him.
As you mentioned, Jason, Bournemouth at home on December the 27th, then it's Forest on New Year's Day. And Manchester City in the Premier League at home January the 5th. We're hoping to be more than up to speed by then.
Yep, and of course the FA Cup's not far away as well. Manchester City will be our hosts there. Just the word in the Carabao.
Very tough run of fixtures for Villa coming back in after the break. Liverpool at home on Boxing Day and Spurs away on New Year's Day. Of course, Chelsea won 2-0 at Villa Park in October, the Premier League meeting, and the reverse fixture there at Stamford Bridge in April. Kamara, nice turn away from Cassidy.
Back by Chelsea, there's a chance here for attack.
Jorginho laying up his options.
Yeah, a little bit of space for Rankin on the left.
Here's Elliott finding Rankin left-hand side. Cucurella, plenty of options at back post. It's pass slightly too heavy for Cucurella, but he will keep it in. Now Rankin has the opportunity to deliver. Slightly too high.
Does ever so well there, Cucurella, then the ball gets cut back to Rankin. Once he's got his head up there, it's about the delivery. And the best players always make the best decisions. The right thing to do was put the ball in there, but the choice of cross is over here, a bit too much height on it as well. The things you work on the training ground, get players just to play ball, you have a touch, you'll just whip that ball towards that far post.
Webster with Hall into the final 10 minutes. The capital of the United Arab Emirates. Just one friendly for Chelsea during their stay in the Middle East. They'll be flying home fairly soon after this. And they'll be very keen to welcome back a number of their World Cup stars. Potter can get working on his team's shape in the second half of the season.
Heavy touch there from Jorginho. Nearly allowed Danny Ings just to pinch his pocket. Does enough to make sure that that's not the case.
Cucurella in field this time. It's a really nice spin from Amari Hutchinson, who is eventually pulled down.
He's been good, Hutchinson. Really like what I see.
He's got that low centre of gravity, hasn't he? The ability to just turn on a sixpence.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's any difference between that and the booking that we had not that long ago. The referee has booked Douglas Luiz.
It is Douglas Luiz who leaves the field to be replaced by Marvellous Nakamba. And the other substitution, Tommy O'Reilly, coming on in place of John McGinn. Here is the mark that he left on today's game. Making no mistake inside the area. Ali, one of those players who has made a bit of a name for himself in the Aston Villa camp. Did start against Cardiff City, their first friendly under Unai Emery. And he has continued to give him minutes during this training camp. Very energetic central midfielder. You see him there chasing down the ball, top of your screen. Surely that's a free kick.
Yeah, just a matter of time, wasn't it? It was all over him. Holds off one challenge, holds off two, holds off three. In the end, the referee had no choice.
Seen a few of those signs. I think Jorginho's going to need to start printing a few more shirts himself. Hutchinson out for Rankin. Keeper continuing his run forward. Here he is, the Spaniard. Wasn't the worst ball in. Ings was well placed to clear.
Yeah, well worked on this left-hand side. Lovely little run. Just rolled in, he's onside. Just tries to dink it to Cassidy. It looks like that's who he's looking for, Max. I don't know what you think, but that's the impression I'm left with. But in the end, means he's equal to it. Heads by him for a corner.
Hovering just behind, wasn't he? Timed his run into the area really well, the Italian. Young gets that one away. It's a bit of a sore one as well from Ben Elliott. He's in possession now. The Rankin go on the left-hand side, driving forward to try to offer some support. Hutchinson, who will stretch and keep this one in. It's not the worst cross either.
It's not the worst, and they're the ones that Brody will be looking for, Max. On this left-hand side, Hutchinson. Swap flanks. Gets to the bar and digs out. Brilliant ball. Goalkeeper scrambling across his goal in the end. Slightly overhit, but like I said, if Brody was there, he'd be looking to get on the end of that.
He's been a real positive from this game. Kamari Hutchinson, capable of playing in a number of different positions as well. We've seen him as a false nine for the development side. Seen him coming in from either flank. That is number 10 as well. The player that Graham Potter loves to work with. As we've seen with Lewis Hall, versatility for Graham Potter is a really, really important quality.
The modern game, you know, you need to be able to change things. The word fluid is often used now, but when managers talk about their team selection and shape.
Elliott again, looking for Cassidy.
Yeah, fell off scraps, hasn't he, really, Cassidy? There's not been a lot going his way. There's not been a lot of build-up play since the end of the field.
Archer gets the better of Hall. He's got support on the left-hand side as well. It's Danny Ings. He's through on goal. Ings, well, under pressure from Bettinelli. Squeezes that one wide.
Well, it should be 2-0. He gets too tight. Lewis Hall, been impressed with him today, but on that occasion, he'll learn from that. Don't get too tight. If you get too tight, you can be spun. He was spun. And the ball comes out to Ings. Not the greatest first touch. Give Bettinelli some credit. He's out sharp. Does enough to make sure that the shot doesn't get away. Otherwise, it would have been 2-0. Yeah, the ball does go behind for a goal kick.
Out the angle really, really quickly with Bettinelli. Danny Ings, 6 goals this season, back into the starting 11 for Aston Villa in their final game before the winter break against Brighton. With Ollie Watkins ill, he took his chance with 2 goals. She saw him pass the 100 league goal mark in his career.
Well, we're not too far away from the 90-minute mark. It's going to happen. It's going to happen very soon.
Final 90 seconds, isn't it, of the 90 minutes? That's a good run by Mothersill. Action's in the area as well. Mason Burstow has joined the action. And it's Ben Elliott with the strike now. Did that hit an arm? I thought for a second Callum Chambers threw his arm up to block that one.
Well, first off, it's a great run behind the right-hand side there. Haven't done that enough. So look here, the cross is blocked. There's a shot. It's held from that angle. This will tell us. It's not VAR though. That's a penalty. VAR's there, gets involved.
Well, the resulting corner has been headed away, and Cameron Archer just trying to hitch a ride on Ben Elliott's shoulders.
Swap shirts after the game.
Hutchinson, what can he conjure up here towards the far post? Cassidy was climbing.
Yeah, the goalkeeper sees this all the way it leaves his foot. You want to try and tease the goalkeeper to bend it away from him as opposed to overhit as that was, and it's catching practice in the end.
The 3 minutes will be added on at the end of this game. And here's Young to take it away from Chelsea. Powerful run on the winger. 16-year-old still going here.
It's a great run.
Slightly behind Tommy O'Reilly at the far post.
It's a brilliant run. In the end, he shoves Cucurella to the ground fairly.
Camber, Augustinson with the camber again. He's found his fullback once more, and it will be Aston Villa corner.
Defending to do for Chelsea. Time, by the way.
Finally does come in. Bettinelli again. The punch, actually think he was helped by Mason Burstow. One for Burstow to deal with. Kamara, now Archer. It's on the left-hand side, if Kamara can spot it, which he does. Young was trying to climb ahead of Cucurella.
Well, one final chance, I should say, for an attack.
60 seconds left on the clock.
Space on the right.
Good work by Charlie Webster. Then Malik Mothersill into action. Gustafson blocks the first attempt. Chambers smashes away the second. 45 seconds for Chelsea to grab an equaliser, perhaps take this game to penalties.
Can't see it right now, Max. There's not been a lot of evidence. There's been one or two moments in the game. But the Brozier injury really has not helped anyone, has it?
Fired into the feet of Cassidy and loses possession. I imagine that'll be it for Chelsea unless they can get this one forward as quickly as possible. Bettinelli to Humphreys. Burstow stayed forward. Today's up there as well. This is Mothersill. It's Ben Elliott who's dropping a shoulder and trying to create something on that right-hand side. Comes the ball towards the near post. Burstow was sniffing around. Taken into the grateful arms of Robin Olsen. And that'll be it. John McGinn's goal is enough to crown Aston Villa the inaugural champions. It was a tough afternoon, wasn't it, for Chelsea's youngsters against their more experienced opponents. It was the clinical nature of John McGinn's finish which means that Aston Villa will be heading back to England with some silverware. Finishes here. Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 1. Let's take a look at the best moments. Well, this was where Villa made the breakthrough. Good play through the middle of the pitch. Luca Dean spotted Ollie Watkins' run through the middle, and then it pops up nicely for John McGinn to just stroke that one home.
Yeah, it's a really nice goal actually, and you mentioned there about the intricate play in the middle of the park, 1 and 2 touch, moves the ball out left hand side, but Cucurella's got to come across because we're stretched, and in doing so leaves space for McGinn. Lovely little flick for Watkins. In the end, he just slides it in on his left foot into the empty net. It's a smart goal, really well created, well taken.
And then 5 minutes later, Chelsea threatened to hit back. It's a raking pass to pick out the run. Lamar Hutchinson ducked in field superbly. And then look at this for an attempt. Facing back towards his own goal, still able to generate the curl.
Yeah, I mean, really impressive strike. There's a lot of work to do. He's got 1v1 with McGinn, drives at him on that left foot, skips inside, then he has to come across again. There's another challenge that's come in, opens the goal up a little bit more, wraps his foot around it, can't quite wrap his foot around it enough, hits the post.
Villa came forward themselves on the half-hour mark. Douglas Luiz's pass, picking out Ollie Watkins, who at full stretch pulls Marcus Bettinelli into a save.
Yes, it's a nice ball in behind the centre halves, and the ball just skips away. Kind of just, I don't think Ollie Watkins expected that.
5 minutes are added on following the injury to Armando Broja. It meant that Arjan Reiki was able to get the frame of the goal before the break.
Yeah, walked onto that, nice strike, beautifully set up by McGinn.
After the restart though, Chelsea came flying out. Looked much more positive following the half-time team talk. And it was switched to Rankin and teed it up nicely for Hall, who thought that he'd scored.
Yeah, it's a lovely switch of play over the fullback's head. Rankin just sets out first touch. Lewis Hall walking onto it with his favourite left foot. Thought he was going to nestle in the back of the net, but Olsen does well.
Caden Young in possession here, 16-year-old, the youngest player in Villa's travelling party, playing a huge part, rationing that opportunity for Leon Bailey, who should have done better.
Yeah, it's a lovely smart pass from McGinn, recognising the space, recognising he's got to play it first time. Bailey should really score, in all honesty. His first touch is decent, he walks onto it, he's under no real pressure, doesn't really get enough power or certain direction on the shot. Take nothing away though from Bettinelli, does well.
And then with 3 minutes remaining, Cameron Archer got the better of Lewis Hall and teed up Danny Ings. And really good goalkeeping, brave goalkeeping by Bettinelli to get out there and smother that attempt.
Yeah, a little bit stretched to that point where he gets a bit tight there, Lewis Hall. Bit of space over on that left-hand side. I think he'll be disappointed, actually, Danny Ings, that he hasn't put that in the back of the net.
And then one final opportunity for Chelsea. It was Malik Mothersill galloping down that right wing. Bring Ben Elliott into play, and it looked as though that was an arm from Callum Chambers. Obviously no VAR, but deflected over the bar anyway.
Yeah, too little, too late, I'm afraid, on this occasion. On another day, maybe VAR does look at it. Hard to tell.
So Chelsea do lose the inaugural CBF Al Wada Challenge Cup here in Abu Dhabi. As you see, Aston Villa lifting the trophy in the background. But coming up this week, on Saturday, the FA Youth Cup, Chelsea under-18s against Bradford City under-18s. That one's live from Kings Meadow at midday UK time. A real opportunity to see the next generation of youngsters take part in one of the most prestigious competitions that we offer at that level. Well, there's John McGinn, the Aston Villa captain, with the trophy. Unai Emery is a serial winner, so He'll be delighted despite the fact that it is just a mid-season trophy, but they've deserved it. They were the better side throughout the game with their more experienced 11 that they named. As it finishes here in Abu Dhabi, Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 1.